just kind of guess. It's smaller though. So this is where you get to kind of have some options. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is brand new Rico tape, rolls off perfectly. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go in halves. But they're gonna be kind of smaller. You could probably even have argued to go in thirds. Okay, so this is where, remember we've got, let's say she's left-hand dominant, and we've got tennis elbow on the left side. Here's usually the epicondyle, that's usually the big ouch point. You know, let's do this for the underside. It could be worked anywhere, but you just practice lateral, so let's practice medial. But either way, if this is tennis elbow and we're here, right, you need to get your pen and like, where is the really uncomfortable spots? And a lot of times it starts kind of in the forearm. So you're gonna have to decide like, where is it worse, getting worse, and then you mark your X, right? And then you try to figure out, okay, here's what I need to unload. That's where it's gonna go. The issue with, we're in the arm now, and this injury goes pretty high, we have to be careful of the joint lines. But what's good about this tape job is that you can cross here successfully. You would just wrap below that. So you might have a little bit sticking out at the top, and that's okay, because at least you were thorough in the placement of your coverall and your strips for unloading. Okay, so that's okay in this instance. Sometimes in the knee that happens where, remember we saw it sticks out a little bit. As long as you did enough spray and you accounted for the weather, the hot and humidity, then you're likely to be okay here. That you have a little sticking out, okay? So let's say actually now we're on the underside. Okay, good. And then I'm gonna have you scoot a little bit more so you feel like your arm, yes, is on there. So then if we've got now more of a flexor issue, right, it's usually flexor pronator is involved. And so if we kind of think about, all right, here is the bulk of it running down, we're gonna sort of be like that, okay? So I'll have sprayed her because again, if we're using an unload, that likely means we're testing this out in some kind of a practice or competition. So we've got mark your point, like where is the worst? Yes, okay, I need to make sure that that's in my unload. And then here is now, as long as, you know, they're comfortable like this, maybe they want to kind of lay on their side a little bit more, like whatever feels comfortable to your athlete is how you do it. You just need to make sure you've got eyes where you need them. So now we're going to lay down our first of our anchors. Okay, and so now we start our unload. So now this is our traditional unload. Where we're going 50% to the one below that went in the same direction. And so what we don't want to do here, sometimes you'll find as you're unloading, your pressure changes as you're doing it. And so you might find it's like fat down here and skinny up here. And that just really takes practice to kind of get that even pull. And then right about now, we're gonna cross we're about to cross the joint line. And that's okay, as long as we don't wrap there. So I'll just do one more small one. And then my anchors. Gonna be too long. Okay. So now we're done with that. Fingers. Okay. And then that little rough edge, I usually lay again towards the inside. That's just like a preference I have. Okay, and then what you could also do is just kind of box it in. Now, depending on the athlete, they might say, okay, I'm done, that's it. That's all I'm gonna let you do. And then you just kind of have to decide on whether you agree with them or not. And, you know, if it's really hot and humid, you would have probably had to double spray if you thought they were gonna not let you wrap them. Because again, there are some edges here. Now, I've had athletes play with just this, but that kind of concerns me, you know, this body rub, like you just don't know if that's gonna come off. And so I really prefer to finish that off so that we're not taping or scrambling during the competition. Swing up this way, watch your feet face me. And then I'm gonna use a 2-inch again. And then just kind of like punch into me a little bit. And then again, I'm gonna start, do you see how I do that? I don't go covering all of this, because then my tape is even, my wrap's even longer, and the athlete's already telling me like they don't really want this part. And so I just kind of grab it. And so I'm getting kind of close. I think that's where I have to finish it. Somewhere on the outside or the top side. And so then you see there, like a little bit's poking out, but I'm not as worried about that because the bulk is covered and protected. Okay? So there's our 2 elbow tapes.